Okay, hello folks. Michael J here. How you guys doing? We're going to start off with a video, as has been customary. A lot lately has been the CC, which is Community Contributor Program, but this is going to be just slightly different. And this is going to have to do more with the submarine and the surface ship interaction, and how one individual thinks it needs more work. So if you have any questions or you want to add some commentary to this, your own experiences, you're more than welcome. And let's get started.
Hello, good people of YouTube, Mountbatten here, and today we are finally talking about surface ship versus submarine interaction after having played quite a bit of ranked battles over the past couple of days. And well, I gotta say, this ranked battle season is truly special, because the teams are quite special, at least the ones I've been getting. Granted, I played a lot on the first day, and that day is normally quite a mess, because everyone, despite their ranked, is normally nice and mixed up and all together, so you've got some crazy teams going on. So how this video is going to go, I wrote down a couple of notes during my session of playing with submarines. Well, playing against them in a surface ship. And we're going to go through that right now. I'm going to share my thoughts on each aspect of it, and then I'll give you guys a nice little wrap up there at the end. So let's go ahead and get rolling. So we're going to start with the good first, start on a positive note. So, my first observation was that subs are exceptionally frail when they get caught in the open, as they should be. It's a trade-off for having the ability to be one of the sneakiest classes in the game. But anytime these guys get caught out in the open, especially when surfaced, they barely make it through a salvo or two from anything, really. Even if you're a battleship with AP loaded, the changes were made, I think, a little while ago, where AP shells now have an area of damage effect around their splashes in the water when firing at submarines. So it's kind of like HE. It's not as large as HE from my understanding, but it still happens, meaning you don't have to hit right on the subs for your AP shells to do damage to them. So you can quite easily send them to the Shadow Realm with your main battery guns, not even thinking about your secondary guns on top of that. Oh, by the way, there will be footage playing in the background, and I played through the couple of days of ranked with the Arizona, the Tier 6 American Premium Battleship. I chose her for ranked because she's got 12 14-inch guns, quite the heavy broadside, and they are quite accurate for Tier 6 guns, especially with the amount that you get. My other choice would probably be Warspite for playing in this go round of ranked. And plus, the Arizona gets the ASW aircraft, which is very important. I'm getting to that here in a moment. But anyway, yeah, when submarines are caught in the open or even underwater, they take damage, heavy damage when they're surface, even below the water too. People will easily dogpile these things with their ASW aircraft or destroyers or cruisers with their depth charges, and it doesn't really take much to sink these things. Speaking of ASW aircraft, the ASW aircraft is very, very useful in dealing consistent damage to subs, or force them to dive deep, which in turn limits their vision and forces them to burn their dive time. And it's quite easy to use once you get the hang of it. They work just like the Dutch air CVs, the Dutch, not yet, but the way we're going, who knows? The Dutch cruisers airstrikes, it's literally the same interface and everything, and the planes arrive quite quickly, especially when you drop them close to your ship. And it's quite easy to use, and it's quite easy to do consistent damage with these depth charges to the subs, or force them to submerge. Each round, when I use the airstrikes with the Arizona, I would find myself getting at least 2 depth charge hits on these subs, which is around 4,000 damage, or these guys would be forced to dive down to their maximum operating depth of, I think, like 40 meters at Tier 6, which at that point, they can't see anything at that depth. So they're completely blind at that point, just trying to stay alive. And they'll still take damage at that depth, be it a lot less damage than if they were shallower, but their burning dive time down there, they're still detected by you, so now their dive time's being burned at twice the rate. So it really is a trade-off for them. Do they want to stay shallow and hope that you're the only one around with depth charges, or do they want to dive deep and cut their losses but be stuck down there for at least a solid minute or 2 minutes? Which, at the pace that ranked battles is going, is a good chunk of the match. But of course, in random battles, that's not as much of the match, but it still forces them to make that decision. So they're either stuck down there away from you, where they can't hit you, where they can't even see you, or they're going to eat a lot of damage. And what was really surprising to me, and this came as a huge surprise playing the Arizona, it's quite easy to dodge and manipulate the torpedo homing system. Like, really easy, especially if you just sit back and use your brain for a moment. So there should be a couple clips that you'll see throughout this video where I do this quite easily. So one time I was being pushed by a warspite, and I believe it was a cachalot that was hunting me. That was hunting me, and he pinged me. But since it was just a warspite, after me, I didn't really need to hold my damage con. So what I did was I waited a little while, kept sailing in the direction that I was sailing in, and then once I thought his torpedoes were on the way, because you get notified of where the ping's coming from, and it even highlights the part of your ship that's been pinged. So you know where it's coming from and what part of your ship it's going for. And plus you get a countdown timer of when that ping's going to wear off, so you have a pretty good idea of around the time that the torpedoes are going to get there. So I waited a little while, I waited till almost this ping was gone, popped my damage con, and then I changed my direction. And lo and behold, the torpedoes missed by a mile. Now, of course, too, you're not always going to be in that situation. You might have 2 or 3 ships around, you might have been set on fire a couple of times, and your damage con isn't going to be available. And that's okay, because if they're pinging your bow or your stern, now, of course, this is very dependent upon your situation, it's really easy to dodge these torpedoes. That genuinely surprised me. Considering I'm in the Arizona, ship that goes, it's cursed by being American and being a dreadnought, so it can't go faster than like 22 knots with a speed flag. I thought I was going to get absolutely eviscerated. Now, granted, the Arizona does benefit from the tighter turning circle of the American low-tier BBs, but it's hardly a DD or a cruiser in terms of maneuverability. Like, yes, it's got a tighter turning circle, but it's still... She's slow. So, what I did here, and I'm not sure exactly where this clip's going to show up, but I was pushing the middle cap by almost myself. I had a Graf behind me, and our submarine, which was, I believe, a cachalot, was also keeping his distance because he was almost dead. And there's this one submarine, he's just pinging the ever-living crap out of me. And he gets the double ping that gets the improved homing and the citadel damage if he hits my citadel. So I thought it was going to be pretty bad, but these torpedoes are detected from 2 kilometers out now. So I see them, and since the torpedoes are going after the bow of my ship, I simply turn, and the torpedoes have, well, a lot of trouble trying to hit the bow of my ship, because the torpedoes really want to hit that part of your ship. But even with the improved homing of the double ping, they still struggle to do it if you maneuver at the right time. And you can see there too, they do try to turn to keep up with me, but they simply can't, because the bow of your ship swings over so fast. Now, maybe if they're targeting the midsection of the ship, sure, they might have had a better chance of hitting me, and they eventually do. He does manage to get I think 2 torp hits on me out of a salvo of 4 with the double ping going on, simply because I couldn't maneuver. And in this case, I was being targeted by at least 2 other ships too. So this was kind of a worst case scenario. But again, if you're used to dodging normal torpedoes, it's not terribly difficult. You just have to be a pretty seasoned player. Well, not even that seasoned, but just be pretty experienced with predicting where torpedoes are coming from when you're being shadowed by DDs. It's pretty much the same thing, but now you're being told where they're coming from and what part of the ship they're aiming for, so you have a bit of a warning as to what they're going for, so you potentially can dodge them quite easily. So that's the good. The bad now. Now, there's less points for bad, but the bad is, it's pretty bad. So, the first and my biggest issue is that not every ship has ASW equipment. This is a massive issue for me. And I don't understand why they don't give every ship ASW equipment. So, my logic is that every single ship has some form of AA, except for pre-World War One ships or some World War One ships. That's understandable. That's just historically accurate. But even some of those ships, like the Virtus Unitas, it has like 2 AA guns. Same for Dreadnought. It has something to contribute to shooting down planes. Why can't every ship have ASW equipment? It doesn't make sense. It needs to happen, and it's quite stupid, in my opinion, that not every ship has at least one ASW plane charge, and that causes problems later down the road. So, number 2, the Damage Con consumable gets rid of homing, which, back in the early days of testing, it was explained that when you activate a double ping on a ship, you are thus activating magnetic torpedoes that explode beneath the keel of the ship and therefore deal citadel damage. Now, torpedoes exploding beneath the keel of the ship is quite accurate to later submarines, like I believe the 50s and the 60s, when magnetic fuses on torpedoes became more, well, a thing. I do believe there were some magnetic torpedoes during World War II, but it was very, very late war. But anyway, that is how it works in real life today. The torpedoes are supposed to explode beneath the keel of the ship, which has just a tremendous effect on the ship. I'll play a clip here of I think it's from like REMPAC 2016, when they did some target practice against, I believe, an Oliver Hazard Perry DD. And you can see when the torpedo explodes beneath the ship first off gets lifted up in the air by the explosion, and then that explosion beneath the ship makes a vacuum where there's nothing. So guess what? All the weight of the ship is now pinpointed on that one spot because there's nothing underneath the ship to support the weight. So the ship comes crashing down in that vacuum with all the weight of the ship pinpointed on that one spot, and that usually breaks the keel of the ship, which is kind of important because that's the backbone of the ship, and now it's broken. So now you have a ship that's pretty much in 2 pieces, which is not very well akin to the ship continuing to float, although this particular Arleigh Burke does seem to not go down without a fight. So, yeah, I understand why that would be considered citadel damage, because it is a tremendous effect. However, it being in a World War II, well, I don't think you can really call high tier in this game World War II era anymore, but that's another video for another day. So I can understand why that's citadel damage. But Damage Con getting rid of homing? Since they said they were magnetic torpedoes, I assume that they're going for an effect called degaussing here with Damage Con getting rid of the homing pings. So degaussing was a real method used during World War II where there was this device on board. I'm not sure how it exactly worked. It's a lot of science and such, but it would change the magnetic signature of the ship's hull to be that of the water around it. It was mostly used when passing through minefields, not really against homing torpedoes or magnetic torpedoes, to my knowledge and to my research. So I think that's what they're trying to emulate here, which makes sense. You activate the degaussing, your ship now has the same magnetic signature of the water around it, so therefore the magnetic fuses are no more, and the torpedoes are now just good old contact fuses. Okay, makes sense, but why is it on Damage Con? Damage Con is so important to battleships. It stops flooding, it stops fires, especially with the amount of HE we have at higher tier. It's so important to stopping fires. So let's say you've got a full salvo of a Balau's torpedoes coming at you, and you goofed up and they've got your side, and you can't maneuver. Either you can't maneuver because you goofed up, or you can't maneuver because you got like 2 or 3 ships in front of you and the Balau managed to sneak around to your side. Good on the Balau for getting in that position, getting that shot off. However, you're about to eat like 30,000 something damage and citadel damage. I don't like that, so I pop Damage Con. Okay, now you're going to die to the 3 ships in front of you because of HE span fires. And I get it, you can't be an invincible battleship, but boy, does that suck. Is that a choice to make? And people complain about CVs being able to create instant crossfires. In this situation, yes, the submarine did get in that position, but 50,000 damage and citadel damage, like, oh man, in one go, like that doesn't happen every day in the game. unless the thing shows you broadside and you manage to get a lucky shot off with a battleship. So this, in my opinion, really needs to be its own consumable. You can give people like 3 charges of it a game, and I think it'd be fine. You get 3 chances to negate that Citadel damage, and then after that, it's gone. And it's historical, makes sense, so I think that should be added in as a consumable. I think that would solve this issue of just placing so much more importance on damage con. Alright, so going back to point 1, that not every ship has ASW equipment. This leads to a really big issue and a really awkward situation where if there isn't a surface ship left that has ASW equipment, and there's one one submarine left, that's really awkward. So either the game's going to last an eternity while this submarine either runs from the enemy team and tries to recharge its dive capacity, and then it's able to dive again and just either run for the team more or slowly manage to kill everybody because there's no ASW equipment left on the friendly team, or they just sit there and wait for the match to end, which is kind of awkward. And yes, I know I've complained about matches being incredibly short in the past before, but that's because the team folds in 2 minutes, not because there's one ship left that's just running around. So that's another throwback to point 1 where every ship needs some form of ASW equipment, and I'm not really sure why some do and some don't. They haven't really explained, to my knowledge, either way, but it just doesn't make sense in my opinion and needs to change. The last point is that there's less action on the surface now with these submarines being in the game. They take up the spot of 2 ships. Now, granted, recently, at high tier at least, DDs don't really last that long. So having 2 ships on a team that you're not going to see on the surface may not make up that big of an issue, but at the end of the day, it's still less ships on the surface fighting each other. And plus, there's less damage to be had in the games now, so average damage is going to go down, which is unfortunate. And I like surface action better than subsurface action with the submarines. Like, submarines versus submarine battles are incredibly fun for the 2 submarine players, but everyone else is just sitting there just watching them, like, just sail around each other in circles. So that's the last big issue for me. And these 4 big issues, in my opinion, do kind of overshine the 5 good things that we started off the game with. And I think if they get these last 4 things down, from my point of view at least, I think we'll be in a much better situation with submarines. So lastly, a non-issue that I've seen brought up a lot is that submarines have the potential to just hide from the enemy team if they're all that's left at the end of the game. And I did mention that, but that was more into terms of they're hiding below the surface and no one can touch them because no one has ASW equipment. But DDs do this too, all the time, and cruisers do too. Battleships are the only guys that really have a hard go of it, but battleships do this too. It happens all the time when you're the last teammate alive on the friendly team and you have the points advantage, and all you need to do is run and hide. Every class can do this. Submarines are just really good at it, but I mean, I don't see how that's an issue in and of itself because everybody does it. So yeah, that's a non-issue to me. That's the only non-issue I had, but it's something that I've seen commented quite frequently, that they're very good at hiding when they're the last ship live on the enemy team, and you need to kill them to win, and the enemy team has a points advantage. But, well, again, everyone does that. That's the logical thing to do in that situation. So that's my thoughts on surface ship versus submarines interaction. And keep in mind, this is just at tier 6, and this is just on the first night of random battles in the 7v7 format. So it's not going to be extremely similar to 12v12 when the matches can last a bit longer and we can see what late game submarine play is really like. This is just my initial first impressions of playing against real humans in this iteration of the submarine test. Do keep in mind too, this is still all in testing. This isn't like the final variant of the submarines that will be coming to the game. This is still testing, so these can and probably will change. So keep that in mind. Alright guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you have a wonderful Friday. I will be live streaming right here tonight on the channel from 5 p.m.
So taking a smoke break, then we're going to come back and play a game. So if you have any questions or want to add any commentary, just throw it in chat. And Bob's your uncle. Okay, folks, so we're going to go into battle. And what are we going to do? What are we going to play? What should we play? We're going to play Tier 10 Random in the Yoshino. There's 4 destroyers on each side. Any questions, just throw in chat. We're going to go CD. You really need to control CD on this map.
Battle starts.
Good luck, everyone. Enemy force detected. The ship is on fire! Enemy destroyer detected.
Got hit me pretty good. Lava. How'd you get me from there?
Problem solved, sir. Enemy cruiser sighted.
Good.
Enemy battleship detected. Enemy battleship detected. destroyed.
We're down 5, they're only down 2, so it's not looking good for our team. This whole flank on the port side's collapsed here.
Enemy battleship sighted. Main turret critically damaged. Problem solved, sir. Torpedoes astern. Torpedoes to port. Destroyed an enemy cruiser. The ship is on fire.
Come on.
Problem solved, sir. Torpedoes astern.
Are you kidding me?
Torpedoes to port. Torpedoes to port. The ship is on fire.
We tried, folks. We tried. Not a bad game. Was definitely tried. Not too bad. We came in number 2. What are you going to do? Didn't go as well as I would have liked, but, you know. Good. Okay, so we came in number 2. Didn't do as well as we would have liked, but, you know, that's life. That's how she goes sometimes. Not too much you can do about it. Really didn't get unwound, the team. I don't know what happened to our team, but anyways, the port flank that I was on totally collapsed. They just couldn't hold it together. And sometimes it goes that way. There's not much you can do. Okay, there's that there. So sometimes that's the way she goes. Not much you can do about it, folks. So now we're going to do something just slightly different, not hugely different. Now this is going to be a little white house. Little white house? Little white mouse. Also known by her first name as April. So little white mouse. She did some wonderful ship reviews, the best I've ever seen. Absolutely phenomenal. So let's watch this.
And welcome to Bite Size Tech. I'm your host Rogue, and today a word from our sponsor Crypto.com, home of the Visa card that pays up to 8% in rewards and the app that pays you up to 14% annually on your crypto stake. Join more than 10 million users on the world's fastest growing crypto app as you trade with confidence on the world's fastest and most secure crypto exchange. Tech has more information and a special sign up offer at the end of this video.
Hello and welcome to World of Warships. What a day. What a day.
A quick shout out to Tank Monkey. Thanks for dropping in, Tank. Always good to see you, buddy.
Videos, not familiar with what's going on. Wargaming, I think, finally might have stepped in the main pile of poo. I am sort of on the edge of this situation with wargaming in the CCs, in the sense that I am a wargaming CC, and I know a number of the people involved in the current kerschnuffle, but I'm not directly in the middle of it because none of it happened to me personally, and wargaming has done nothing to me personally, and making World of Warships videos is not my primary means of making a living, so part of me is sort of standing over here on the side going, well, I'm sure that's all very dramatic in the middle, but to the rest of the world, nobody cares. It is the 15th of August, and at the moment, the capital of Afghanistan is falling to the Taliban forces. So this is important in the World of Warships community, but it is deeply unimportant in the grand scheme of things. It means absolutely nothing in the big picture. I don't say that to belittle what has happened. I think the way Wargaming has treated some of the CCs is very poor. I've seen the communications internally, which I can't share with you because they're on the World of Warships community contributor Discord, and so obviously that's all privileged conversation. But let's just say 10% of the Wargaming CCs did not all just leave in the past 24 hours for no reason whatsoever. Everybody from the Mighty Jingles to Little White Mouse to a dozen other names basically said, all right, you guys stepped in it. This is enough. We're out of here. We don't need you nearly as much as you need us. Now, there are over 200 community contributors, and the majority of them have not left, but the majority of them are fairly small creators. And in that regard, I guess I fit into that category as well. I'm a fairly small creator when it comes to World of Warships. If I stay or if I go doesn't mean anything to Wargaming. I don't make enough content. I don't have enough people watching these videos. Nobody cares. I get it. I understand. But... And Jingles has had an on-again, off-again relationship with them. But my goodness, how do you drive Little White Mouse away? You have to turn the screw up to 11 to make that happen. Why they have not offered her a job and a lot of money is beyond me. Why they have not tried to make her a bigger part of this. There is not a harder working CC. There is not a harder working unpaid quality assurance employee than Little White Mouse. She is the only community contributor that I consistently read everything and follow the reviews and pay attention, because if I want to know about a new ship, I don't go play the ship. I go read her review on it. And if there's not a review, I'm immediately like, ugh, when's there going to be a review? These are the most meticulously studied, researched, and she's been there since day one. She's an OG contributor, 5-ish years running. And they lied to her face, and then when she called out on it, they're like, well, you just misunderstood. And then she slapped down all the evidence, and then they're like, well, that's not what we meant, or some not. It's just, it's like, really? How about, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I will never do that again. What can I do to make this up to you? Will you please forgive me? Hey, Wargaming, that's what you should be saying. Unfortunately, those words are not in Wargaming's language. They really don't have anybody at Wargaming headquarters who cares. There are 3 events that really destroyed this whole thing over the past 2 years. Because the whole program was great a few years ago. Back when 2016, 2017 North America CC program was kind of separate. It was independent from, there wasn't a global CC program. And it was being run by some very good people here in North America, and they were only letting in certain types of people who played well with others, and they were only letting in small groups of people who, shall we say, were good organically for the company, and they were heavily involved in talking to Wargaming employees, and there was a good back and forth exchange. And then they decided to make it a single unified global program, which did have the benefit of kind of connecting everybody and growing the whole thing. But then they tried to run it out of St. Petersburg, and the people they put in charge were not always the best people. Let me put it this way. There is one particular person who I will not name, who is in St. Petersburg, Russia, who should never be in a customer-facing relationship ever. Maybe he's technically smart. Maybe he's good at his job internally. I don't know. I don't know the guy. I have spoken with him many, many times, but I don't know him personally. I don't know him on a personal level. He should never speak publicly for a company. I have never in my almost 3 decades of working professionally met somebody who is worse at communicating on a PR level, on a customer relation level, because CCs are still customers, on a collaboration level, because we're not employees. I have never, and those of you who know some of the employees who are involved in the CC program know who I'm talking about. And my goodness, it's just talk about, here, I didn't step in it enough, I'll leap into a barrel of it. I will just double down on this level of nonsense like there's no frickin' tomorrow. It's just slightly insane. Again, as I said, this is not important in the grand scheme of things. Go outside, enjoy the sunshine, go hug your family, your kids, etc. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a free-to-play video game being run by a company that's trying to make money. And these CCs weren't being paid anyway. They were getting some free stuff in the game. I mean, everybody will be fine. The world will move on. Whether you should continue to give Wargaming your money, well, let's be honest. Blizzard, Activision, and Electronic Arts are pretty crappy companies too. And a lot of you give them money as well. If you sort of take the stand, I'm not making excuses, but if you take the standpoint of I'm never giving money to a company that doesn't do great things, you will very quickly find yourself running out of companies to give money to, because it's amazing what the profit motive does to just utterly destroy any sense of human decency. It really does. Now, I've owned my own business for 25 years. I started my first company in 1996. And I will be the first one to wave my hand and say that I occasionally have let profit get in the way of doing the right thing. If I went back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, are there decisions I made that in retrospect were probably short-sighted? Yes. Did I always apologize and do the right thing at the time? No. I know how it happens. I understand how that happens. I'm not justifying it. It doesn't make it right. But it happens. In retrospect, having been doing this for a very long time, not as a YouTuber, not as a CC, not as anything, but as a business person, somebody who has a company, somebody who has customers, somebody who has employees, one thing I've learned is that you can overstretch your ask. You can be so greedy that nobody wants to play with you. You don't leave anything on the table for anybody else, then everybody else takes their ball and go home. And other people, be they clients, be they employees, be they other business owners, need something out of the relationship to justify continuing it. And wargaming, unfortunately, doesn't seem to have people there who understand that very well. And maybe they can't hear us over all the money. I imagine World of Tanks and World of Warships makes a lot of money. I don't think World of Warplanes makes any money. I think that game is dead as a doornail, and they just kind of continue it with a skeleton crew because there it exists and it doesn't cost very much to run it. But World of Warships and World of Tanks are probably cash cows that make them a gazillion dollars. And all of this kerschnuffle of CCs leaving and people posting on forums and YouTube videos probably does not get heard over the Scrooge McDuck levels of gold vaults of money that these things bring in. The Missouri is coming back, interestingly enough, and they have not had the Missouri in the game for a very long time. And the reason for that has changed several times depending upon who at Wargaming was delivering the message. But the Missouri is coming back minus her epic credit earning abilities. And interestingly enough, her credit earning abilities weren't as epic as a lot of people thought they were. They were good, but they were good because of the bonuses you could drop on her. They have brought back, I should actually show you the permanent mission instead. They have brought back, and it would help if I actually click the right spot. So this is a permanent mission you can complete as many times as you wish, or actually I should say for 138 days, 137 days. But they'll probably renew it because the reality is
Okay, so he said, this is a few days back. So let's go into port. And let's actually see here. Look at the combat missions. Pacific War. Okay. Let's go back to the screen. So now they've bumped it up to 20%. So initially it was a 17%, but the original Missouri, which we do have in port, what would happen is you'd put on various flags, like economy flags here, and these here like Scylla or Skyla or whatever you want to call it, Dragon, and these would then add to the total. So the extra credits for Missouri original would be after you include flags and other economy or economic incentives. And what they've done is just originally was the 17%. That's just based on the base. The flags were calculated separate and then added on, whereas before everything was calculated including economic flags, and then from that total, then you got the credit earning on top of that. Now what they've done is credit earnings only on the base. So initially they brought it out at 17%, which was much less. Now they've upped it to 20%. And I guess the end goal for these guys is they're just hoping that we all forget about this and they just screw everybody over. And that's what it's about. They're always friggin' changing things to their benefit, not to the benefit of the player base who they want to create trust and loyalty with. They keep eroding their trust, and in tandem, there's no loyalty factor either. So that's the real issue. They just keep attriting the value quotient. Instead of providing more value, which is more of an incentive for people to get involved, they do the exact opposite. And that's where they keep hurting their player base. And by this full steam ahead, just with gimmicks and everything else they can think of to create extra cash flow, they've allowed the game mechanics to falter. Like you have curving torpedoes in the Howland, which Flamu's showing a video on that. And I've had it where my shots at times, depending on, especially on distance, they even curve. Like it's the weirdest thing. And there's few other things that, anomalies that have been present as well, and they just don't fix them. Okay, let's go back to the video.
Can't make permanent missions in the game because their game interface has received no development because they're too busy making more loot boxes. So you get a 17% boost of additional credits per battle in any battle type that you take the Missouri into. So the previous outrageous credit earning of the Missouri is because of a lousy 17% credit boost. Who cares? And of course it's silver. If you've been playing the game for any length of time, silver is not your limit. I've got 813 million credits. And that's after blowing tons of credits on everything you can spend credits on. I was just shy of 1 billion not that long ago, and at some point you don't care. You have everything, so you don't need them. So, and come over here to the exterior. Come over here to camouflage. Now the standard permanent camouflage provides a minus 20% to the cost of the ship's post-battle service. Now that's nice, but if you want to earn credits, then you want to put something like the Gamescom thing on. That gives you a 50% credit per battle boost when you're sailing this ship. That's pretty nice. Now, you lose the minus 20% service, but the service doesn't cost that much. It's really not that big a deal. So we come over here, and we've got the Wyvern Signal, which gives you a 50% credit boost. You've got Leviathan, which gives you a 20% credit boost. You've got Basilisk, which gives you a 30% credit boost. You have got the, not that one. Oh, sorry. You've got the Zulu, which gives you a 20% credit boost. All of these multipliers are off of the ship's base earning of the battle. 17% more credits doesn't sound like a lot until you put all of those signals on there, and then all of a sudden it's 17% times 50% times 30% times 20% times 20%, etc., etc., etc. There's another 25% right there. Needless to say, that's slightly nuts. The new 17% doesn't stack. This does not multiply the other signals. This is a huge, huge nerf. Now, again, it's one ship. It's just silver. It's not the end of the world. That's not the problem. The problem, for those of you curious, what happened is when this was announced, Little White Mouse, who is universally respected, I do not know anyone who does not respect Little White Mouse. Every single CC, including the really, really loud ones, Flambu, Flambass, and a few others. No disrespect, but even the really boisterous CCs and former CCs now all respect Little White Mouse. Seriously, it's like one of those people who just doesn't get into the mud and just works their butt off for free. And so Little White Mouse directly asked Wargaming, is this going to stack and multiply the other boosts? She did this in written form and asked them, because otherwise you're actually losing out on huge amounts of credits. You could potentially be losing out on 500,000 credits in a single battle with the way they've got this set up. And they directly replied to her in writing, no, we took that into account. The 17% will boost your economic signals, flags, and camos. It's fine. We are not nerfing the OG owners of this ship. And so she went and created a Reddit thread and said, hey, everybody relax. I've checked. I wrote. I got the information. You will not be screwed over for being an original owner of this ship. They've not changed it. It'll stack. You'll be fine. And then 0.10.7 comes out, and they lied to her. It does not stack. Of course, they initially said, don't know what you're talking about. And then they said, well, there was a miscommunication. And then they said, well, your question was phrased poorly or whatever. It was like 3 rounds of BS runaround. Here's the reality. Did they make a mistake? Yes. Did the person who replied to her actually know the answer? Probably not. The person who replied probably didn't understand. The problem is you should not have somebody replying who doesn't know the answer. That is a failure internally. Now, if Wargaming had come out and had said, holy smokes, everybody, we are so sorry. We gave Little White Mouse the wrong information. We screwed up. She repeated information that she was given. Very, very sorry. You know what? Little White Mouse probably would have been like, okay, thank you for the apology. Thank you for just simply owning it outright and saying, we screwed up totally. Please, everybody, do not blame Little White Mouse because we're the digits over here. Instead, they come out and say, well, she was confused. There was a miscommunication. We don't know what happened. I want to scream right now. I'll blow out your earphones if you're listening on earphones. I want to use all the words right now. This is like an unforced error in baseball. It's so unnecessary. And so she quit. She said, fine, I don't need this in my life. I don't need to be treated like dirt. I am not a mushroom. She didn't quite put it like that, but I mean, that's the long and short of it. And so, who else has followed for the exits? It's a very long list at this point. It's more than 20 names and growing, and it's like the big names. It's the people who have an audience. So, yeah, I I I have watched this go downhill. There's two people in particular I want to call out for who Wargaming also screwed over, who actually worked for Wargaming, and I want to give them a little bit of credit because Wargaming did everything wrong. I mean, it's one thing to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I've made lots of mistakes. I certainly have made mistakes. There's a gentleman most of you probably don't know by the name of I. Earl Grey.
Okay, we're going to take another break and then we're going to come right back, folks. So sit tight. Okay, folks, we're going to go back to that video. Whoops. Whoopsie.
The CCC
There we
operated
go.
globally.
There you go.
He was not ultimately
Questions,
the head
chat.
she's in charge, but he was day-to-day in communication and contact with everybody, and he worked very hard to reply to everybody on the community contributor Discord and to act as the go-between between a lot of CCs and wargaming, and to try to improve the program and make everything run smoothly. I have no doubt he greatly exceeded his 40-hour-a-week allotment or whatever it is. He worked his tail off. But he finally grew tired of the back and forth and the lies and the, especially the loot crates, the gambling. Oh my God, I could do a whole video on the stupidity of wargaming. Stop with I know it's money. You will eventually go too far there, and you will eventually either piss off a government entity or you will piss off, I don't know, enough customers, like EA with Star Wars Battlefront 2. It is possible to go too far, and you don't know where your limits are, and you will just go and go and go until you go, what happened? You didn't know when to stop. Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered, and you are turning into a hog, if not already a hog. So iHero Gaming made a public comment about something that happened, and Wargaming did not like that he made this comment, but he was making no progress internally, and he was trying to bring attention to it. Now, you could call it gross insubordination, and you could call it violating the chain of command and all these other things, and it is, sure. But at some point, it's an attempt to get somebody higher up in the company's attention, and it's an attempt to rally the troops. And so Wargaming fired him. And it's a shame because he was instrumental in gluing the CC program together. And when he left, it was just never the same. The communication was never the same. There was just never a replacement for what he did. The other person I'd like to call out is a former community contributor and a community coordinator for the North America office. Many of you may know her. She goes by the name of Fem. And she was always known as that one CV player you never wanted to meet in battle until they nerfed CVs, but that's a separate conversation. She ended up getting a job back in 2018 working for Wargaming after being a community contributor for, I believe, 2 years. And then she moved to Austin and worked in their office for about a year. And she essentially worked under Radar X. Now, I didn't really know Radar X very well. I talked to him a couple of times. I DM'd with him a couple of times, but nothing substantial in any nature. We had a few chats, a few conversations about this, that, or the other, but nothing major. He ended up leaving. He was the head of the North American office. She worked basically under, she was his report. She reported to him. What Wargaming should have done was promoted her to Radar X's job. Absolutely, totally qualified for that job. Respected, dedicated, hardworking, good at communicating, didn't lose her cool, didn't make it personal. When she disagreed with you or had something to say to you, very professional person, should have promoted her. They didn't. Instead, they brought in somebody from outside the company, and while I don't know this for a fact, they lost her at that point because then she started looking for greener pastures. I think she realized that Wargaming was not ever going to treat her right, and so she ended up going to work for Electronic Arts, where, to the best of my knowledge, she still is to this day. Haven't talked to her in a long time, but she left, and the North American office died. Oh, there's new people there now, but I've talked to them a couple of times. They don't have anybody there I speak to. I don't think I've spoken to anybody at Wargaming in 2021. It is now August 15th, and I've had no direct communication with anybody at Wargaming. Nobody there cares anymore. They don't have the right people in the office. They don't have the right people running the place, at least from the communication end of things, from the community contributor point of view. You know, they certainly put out press releases and game updates and all that stuff, but they got rid of the good people. I don't want to say they kept the bad people because I don't know most of the current people. I do know the one gentleman in St. Petersburg who, you know, maybe he's not bad per se, but he certainly should never be communicating with anybody publicly because he just doesn't have the temper for it. He makes it personal. He doesn't know. You've got to have people who have a PR slant, who can deliver a message in a non-confrontational, non-personal way. So what's the future of this? The truth of the matter is, same as it was yesterday. They are going to put the Missouri into gambling crates. I'm not even going to call them loot boxes anymore. Gambling crates. And I'm sure Wargaming is going to make a unbelievable crap ton of money because I think the majority of players don't watch these videos. They don't follow the CCs. They don't read the forums. I'm willing to bet that Wargaming knows that 90% of their players have no idea about anything I've just said and don't care. Which begs the question, why have the CC program in the first place? Either it's instrumental and important in growing the game, or it's not. And if it's not, why bother? It does cost money to run. I don't mean in the free stuff they give CCs. I mean in employees to manage the whole thing and run the Discord and communications. I mean, it costs real money to run. If it's that unimportant, why not just scrap the whole program? They might do that. They have an affiliate program now. Should have had this 3 years ago. They've got a program now by which you can represent and promote the game in return for real money. It's not a CC program. You don't get free stuff in the game. Instead, it's an affiliate program like any of the other affiliate programs. Amazon, Newegg, eBay, etc. And so they've got an affiliate program now. Now, I joined about 2 weeks ago before all this happened. I promoted it once or twice. I probably won't anymore beyond this, at least in terms of the affiliate program. I was actually thinking about like promoting it during the live streams over on the main channel. Nah. No, with all this stuff going on, I really don't want to do that. Will I keep making videos? I don't know. I don't know. This isn't ultimately important to me in the grand scheme of things. I don't play the game much anymore. I don't make much content about it. My livelihood doesn't depend upon it. Nobody at Wargaming talks to me. They give me digital freebies in a game that cost them nothing to credit to my account. The whole thing is almost kind of silly. If we were to spend time on something, we should be talking about important things going on in the world. There's a pandemic going on. There's a situation in Afghanistan going on. There's probably 50 other important things going on I don't even know about in the world. Of course, do we need to know about them? I can't control them. I can't do anything about them. I'm curious to see what you guys think about all this. When I started this video, I didn't know what I was going to say. This has been one of the most off-the-cuff, winged videos ever. I just hit record and started talking, and I did not rehearse this. I did not script it. I did not plan it. Even when I do my World of Warships videos, I'll go through and I'll go, okay, well, let's look at the news and let's look at the stuff and click here and okay. And I think about what I want to say and I kind of mentally go through it before I start. And here I just went, I have something to say. Record. Hi, everybody. I have something to say. Comments below. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you being here. And I will see you, well, either in the next video or not, depending upon what happens. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
How many of you have a Visa card that pays you up to 8% on every purchase? Crypto.com offers an amazing deal on their Visa card with cashback that is an unbeatable deal. No annual fee, no sign-up fee, no credit checks, no interest payments. It works just like a prepaid debit card, allowing you to spend your money anywhere Visa is accepted. But wait, there's more! Get your Spotify, Netflix, and Amazon Prime subscriptions 100% paid for by Crypto.com. You heard me right. Use your new crypto Visa card to pay for your subscriptions and get 100% back in rewards. Earning 8% on your new Visa card is awesome, but how would you like to earn up to 14% interest on your crypto holdings? If you're holding crypto for investment, inflation protection, or price speculation, it can be frustrating to feel like your money is just parked. Yes, you really can earn up to 14% annual interest on your crypto, paid weekly directly to your account to spend however you like. The interest is paid in the same token that you're holding. So if you have Bitcoin staked, you earn Bitcoin. If you have Ethereum staked, you earn Ethereum, and so on. Flexible terms are offered, including zero lock, so you can withdraw your crypto anytime you like without restrictions. Or you can hold for 1 or 3 month terms for a higher rate of return. Of course, you can buy, sell, and exchange 100 plus cryptocurrencies with 20 plus fiat currencies using bank transfers or your credit and debit card at true cost. Crypto.com is first and foremost a crypto exchange. There is so much more to explore. I have barely scratched the surface. DeFi features including a private wallet with full control of your private keys, margin and derivatives trading options for advanced traders, crypto credit allows you to borrow against your holdings with no deadlines or credit checks, crypto NFTs allows you to explore the new world of non-fungible tokens, crypto pay allows you to pay any merchant with crypto and you earn up to 10% back in rewards, and that's not even everything they have to offer. If you're looking for the place to be in crypto, use our link in the video description below to sign up today.
Holy crypto's bad, man. What is it with this crypto stuff?
Days of 0% transaction fees on credit and debit card purchases of crypto. It supports the channel and it gets you a great offer to get started in the world of crypto.
Well, there you go. Shopping friggin' links? Oh my. I don't know about that, folks. We got shopping links? I don't. He does? I don't. That's Rogue Tech Gaming, and that's his take on this. I think he presented that quite well. Well said by him. Let me know what you guys think. If you think anything, that'd be interesting, but if not, that's fine too. Let's see if we got something more recent. That Earl, I think it is. He's actually quite a character. He does some pretty cool things. Interesting. Yeah, let's see what Flamu says here. Flamu's got, I like Flamu. That's a guy that really knows that he's a good player, knows this game well. Okay, hold on a sec, folks. Okay, so let's go to this. This should be Flamu. He's doing a summary of what's happened just recently.
I am, as of this moment, resigning the CC program. I no longer wish to be associated.
There's only 3 minutes and 43 seconds.
They have absolute lack of respect, and that is it.
This is Flambast.
No longer able
this
to
here's
be affiliated
iChase
with your morally bankrupt behavior.
We got
a
Flambast,
company that treats its
iChase
player base
here.
like they're just a bunch of walking bank accounts that can be milked. I hereby resign from the Community Contributors Program.
The beginnings of a mass exodus from the World of Warships Community Contributor Program. It
There's
starts with
Jingles.
Mouse. At the end of this session, I will be going into the World of Warships Community Contributor Discord and tendering my resignation as well, because I am done with this shit. It's a toxic relationship, and I want out.
It's bad. It's bad.
And this is Mr.
It's fucking
Gibbons.
brilliant to be out.
I don't know this guy, but he had quite a following, I think.
What a fucking relief this is. I'm done.
Since today I will no longer be a community contributor. I'm walking away from the program. And in fact,
Who's this?
I'm walking away from the game as well.
The pressure is very hard, guys.
Here's
The last
another
days,
guy.
for any community contributor, it's very hard. Because we try to give our fucking feedback. And nobody give a shit about that. Most of them, they care for your wallets.
As the title says, and the short version of this is I've decided to quit the Community Contributor Program.
I'm trying to do what needs to be done.
Yeah, I left the CC program. Yeah, and how they treated April there was,
Being the CC used to mean something. Don't spend the money on it.
I guess we have to remove this, right? Yes. Community contributor for Warp Thunder. There we go.
There we go.
We know that there's an ongoing situation with our community contributor program, which we will be addressing in depth.
Oh,
next week,
ongoing,
with
eh?
Contributors and also you, of course, and we'll be happy to talk about it on stream. But I can't right now because I don't have anything to talk about yet. Thank you very much.
No, you
Have a
don't.
great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Hello everyone! We are awfully sorry
Here's
that
Flat
April
Move.
White Mouse and other CCs are no longer a part of our Community Contributors Program.
Oh yeah, this is a rather porous statement at best.
This is
It's
a
just a
complete
friggin'
non-answer.
I call that a
will
sidewinder.
That's
It's a
their answer.
sidestep.
They're not actually gonna do anything. They're just monitoring it. That's not even an apology.
Meanwhile.
Not just the warships community, but now
Oh yeah, this is I
gaming
Earl. He's
industry
pretty cool.
journalists are
He can be
watching
quite a
and
character.
waiting to see what the panicked upper management.
Well, I
commanded in
Earl Grey is
response.
his proper name. Or moniker. There you go, folks. What a shit fest, eh? Isn't that something? That's amazing. What the heck's this? These players should be avoided in World of Warships? Let's see what Jingles says here. Jingles has got a new one out that's just a day old. Oh, I think I played part of this the other day when he was in the Buffalo. Yeah. Oh yeah, and this one he really pointed out. See, look at this. Look at this ship here. You gotta see this, folks.
The ship for a given
Look at this.
price.
Look
What
at
do you mean,
this.
Jingles? Well, first of all, this campaign that you have to
Friggin'
grind through,
Tashkent.
and you can't even do it all in one go. because
Bow
the
up
campaign missions
out
are
of the
time
water.
objective.
He's just friggin'
They unlock
stuck
every
there.
2
Look at
days.
this.
At the end of which, you
Isn't
still
this
can't just
something,
go
eh?
and buy the Missouri for a fixed price. You have to raise a customer support ticket and negotiate with them the exchange of any gold doubloons on your account necessary to cover the cost of the Missouri. At
Look at
which
this.
point
See
you
this?
will
This is
finally
in game.
actually get the ship.
He screen captured this.
You can just
Can you believe this? This
take
is
your
in
chances
game.
with the loot boxes on day one, rather than having to wait 2 weeks and then raise a
I
customer
can
support
turn his
ticket.
torpedoes around,
Now, call
and
me a
torpedoes,
Buffalo
all that,
cynic,
but he's stuck.
But I can't help
Bow
but feel
straight
that
up.
they've made this process as time-consuming, difficult, long-winded, and aggravating as possible, just to make you say, screw this, I'll just take my chances with the loot boxes. Needless to say, people were not happy.
This is in-game. Unbelievable.
And the news started to spread.
I think he's
The
going to
story
try
was
and bump
first
this
taken up
guy
by
out.
MassivelyOP.com. Within the space of 2 days, it had gone through German language, Polish language, and Dutch language gaming media outlets. Kotaku covered it, and then it even got as far as PC Gamer. These are all, of course, gaming
No, he
media
gets stuck
outlets.
there.
No mainstream media outlets have taken note in the same way that they did in the whole Sir Foch incident back in World of Tanks 4 years ago now? I don't know. And honestly, I'd be surprised if they do, because this is really just a gaming news story. I mean, regardless of how gleeful certain members of the community may be,
Look at this.
other
There's
news
an
outlets
underwater
are
shot.
starting to
Friggin'
take the story
propellers
up.
are
I
still
honestly don't
spinning around.
expect anything
Guy's
to
stuck
change.
with his
I don't
bow
expect
sticking up.
anything that's happened
And now
to me to be
Jingle's in his
different.
buffalo.
I
He
expect
can't
this
back
is
up
gonna
or
be
move.
just a couple of bad news cycles for wargaming, and within a couple of weeks, they'll be back to business as usual. Because nothing we say
Unfriggin'
or
believable,
do
eh?
actually matters. Doesn't matter how outraged we get. It doesn't matter how many World of Warships veterans. People have been playing since the alpha test. People have been playing since the beta test. It doesn't matter how mad we get, or how firmly we close our wallets. It doesn't matter how many views this or any other video covering the subject gets. None of it is going to make wargaming change. If this video gets 100,000 views of loyal, impassioned, veteran World of Warships players, and every single one of you vows and makes a commitment to never spend another red cent on a wargaming title, it won't make any difference. And I'll explain why. Although before I do, have you noticed that this ship is stuck on absolutely nothing? Not the Tashkent, the Buffalo that came over to try to push him off the rocks. He's stuck on nothing. What exactly have the World of Warships map development team been doing for at least the last year? Because it's been that long since they introduced a new map to the game. They clearly haven't been designing new maps, but someone has definitely been screwing around with the existing ones, because this sort of thing is happening more and more often, and I can't help but feel
Unbelievable,
they've been
folks.
screwing around with the existing maps in order to make them submarine compatible, and they appear to be even failing at that. Anyway, I digress. Back to the topic. Why is it that nothing that we say or do is going to matter? Well, it's quite simple. None of us actually matter to wargaming's monetization strategy. I mean, I'm sure they'd prefer that we all remained paying customers, but they don't really care that much if we don't. I mean, there's only so many times they can sell us a Marco Polo or a Pommern. Once we've bought a premium ship or bundle, that's a revenue stream that's permanently closed to them. No matter how many of us give up and walk away in disgust, nothing will change, because new customers are where wargaming are focusing their priorities. Customers who aren't used to the predatory monetization and haven't seen years of community dumpster fires brushed off with the same non-apologies of empty promises to do better in future. New customers that they can sell Marco Polos and Pommerns to, until those new customers get just as pissed off and start reacting the same way we are. You see, we think that by making our anger and disgust known, that customer turnover and churn will make wargaming sit up and take notice. Because that's the way things are supposed to work. If a company pisses off its paying customers, it will very soon be an ex-company. But that's not the case with wargaming. Customer turnover and churn is not their problem. It's their monetization strategy. Because they're not relying on us.
Gonna take a break. We'll be right back.
They've already extracted all of the money from
Going into battle, Tier 10, Yoshino. Okay, 4 DDs. We're going C. Basically, Captain Isle at sea. That's where we're going, folks. Going to sea. Sea it is. On the high seas with Swifty and the gang. Okay, Montana, Gearing. Gearing's friggin' having a nap. That looks promising. Oh, nose. Oh, yeah. We got the Gearing napping. Oh, there he is. He's just friggin' woke up. Woke up out of a deep slumber.
Anti-aircraft gun crews are on full alert. Enemy battleship detected.
Let's use our spotter here, guys. See if we can friggin' nail this IMO now.
Anti-aircraft gun crews are on normal alert.
Friggin' shots coming out. Well, we did get some hits on this bird. Really wish I could get another shot at him. Get some fires on him.
Good show.
What we got here? Two Napoli's coming in, eh? Okay. Two Napoli. Where the fuck did that buggers get to?
Enemy cruiser detected. Nice work. I owe you one. returning to ship.
Yeah.
The ship is on fire.
What's going on here?
Problem solved, sir.
Come on.
Much obliged. Our team has taken the lead. Enemy cruiser foundered.
Huh. We didn't win that one, folks. Definitely not, but hey, just got stuck on that rail. We had no choice. Two Napolis bearing down together. But, you know, both those Napolis are gone now. They're down 3 ships, we're down 2, so didn't have much support in this flank other than the gearing right from the get-go, or at the beginning. Yep, doodle. Yeah, so that goes 29. I think that's the gearing player. Let's check it out. Let's see. Yeah. So he was with me there. So we took out 2 big cruisers, him and I. 1 cruiser and 1 DD. And the only reason why I went, I'd still be alive, was because of the CV. Friggin' bombed me. Dive bomber. Couldn't do too much. And that was it. Otherwise, I'd still be in the game. Now they're down 4, we're down 2, so we're in good shape. We got 2 out of 3 caps. So Gearing and I forced them to lose 2 big cruisers, 2 Napolis. We did well. Didn't do huge damage-wise, but just enough. 2 torp shots. We're down 3 now. Okay, they're down 5. Okay, that's good for us. Khabarovsk. We're losing the A cap, but we're getting the C cap, so that's okay. As long as this DD doesn't get dive bombed. like I did. See if we can. Okay, so here's the DDs and smoke. Salem's got radar. Salem's quite a distance though. So we got CB. There's a freaking Yamato there if this guy can torp the Yamato. He had torped the Yamato or the Immelman. Holy crap. Not looking good. Not looking good.
Battle ends in 5 minutes. The enemy is about to win.
Reds won her. The Reds won. Thanks, Tank. Thanks for popping back in, buds. Okay, folks, we're going to take a smoke break, buddies. We're going to take a smoke break. That's what we're going to do. Yabba dabba doo. Okay, I'm going to put in chat there, folks. Oops. Let's put it in again. I didn't get that in properly. Oh my. What a guy, eh? What a guy. What can I say? Okay, sit tight, folks. Hey, sorry, folks. On second thought, I didn't realize it was so late. I got to stream tomorrow morning and a few other things. So listen, COVID-19's not a hoax. It's real. Stay safe, folks. Get vaccinated if you can. I got a couple shots. Last shot was way back in June. No issue. Had the AstraZeneca, had the Pfizer. But now we got a Delta variant, which is, much greater viral load. So even vaccinated now, because we've been so slow getting our crap together, even the vaccinated can get the Delta variant, but not to the degree that they have to go on usually to the hospital or respirator. That's why everybody's got to get their crap together, man. Get vaccinated. If you're not sure, go see a doctor for opinion. Get a second opinion from a doctor or even a third opinion. The internet is not where you get your information. On the internet, you don't know what you're looking for. This is an area that you do not know. Professional scientists, doctors, scientists will know. So don't, if you're not happy with one opinion, get a second opinion, get a third opinion, get a friggin' fourth opinion. You only got one life. This is something you need to research. We've brought in vaccines for chickenpox, polio, measles, all sorts of different things. So, and this technology's been around for a while. And then masks. Like, give me a friggin' break. Suffocating. That's friggin' bullcrap. Generations of workers in hospitals been wearing masks, and nobody's suffered because of it. Matter of fact, it's helped save lives there too. So stop with this nonsense. Wear a mask out in public till we can get this, get a handle on this thing. Practice social distancing. Be careful, because you could be a carrier and not realize it. So this is why it's important. Just be smart. Let's get rid of this thing. It's gone on way too long. Like, way too long. You still got idiots. Like guy in Florida. Who's the other guy? Ducey in Arizona. And you got this Abbott in Texas. Like, what is it with these guys? You're sending kids to school that should be vaccinated, but the vaccine's not approved for them. Should be wearing masks. A neighbor next door, this kid's gone to the doctor twice. 3 years old, turned 3 years old about a month and a half ago. Been wearing a mask, no problem. That's bullshit. You take care of these kids because they'll spread it like wildfire. They're starting to get it. Like, this is just utter stupidity. For just putting a mask on. Like, come on now. Like, people's lives are precious. Just one life. And, you get the argument, well, God gave you immunity. Well, why did God give you ability to have scientists to come up with vaccines and technology? We have to take a responsibility and not friggin' rely on God. So that's my answer to that. He gave you the tools through the scientists to fix yourself. And if you have the ability to fix yourself, God's not going to be there for you because you had the tools right there where you were. So come on, smarten up. Look at this properly. Take care of yourself, loved ones, and anybody you come in contact with. because their life is precious. So, Michael J., peace, love to everybody. Remember, you're magnificent. And till the next time, take care, folks. Actually, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, New York time. 10 a.m. Sunday morning, New York time. Oh, yeah. Dun, 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 dun.